Hey, what's up guys? I'm gonna do a quick video here. It's gonna be pretty short, or try to keep it short. I'm outside. I hope the wind and the noise isn't too bad, but I'm trying to get some fresh air. I'm gonna go over what a flare, ME flare is like, how to explain it. Hopefully you can send this to a family or friend who doesn't understand that quite yet. I still get that from friends that are well-intentioned, and I tell them I'm in a, they haven't heard from me in a few weeks, and they go, hey, what's going on? And I say I'm in a flare. And I can tell that they want to understand, but they don't quite know what that means. So I'm not going to share anything groundbreaking here, but I'm hoping that this helps articulate what a flare is for me. Now, this can vary from person to person in severity, duration. It's very different for everybody, but hopefully this helps a bit. For me, a flare is when I have a increase in several symptoms that are so severe it debilitates me even to a more serious degree than my baseline. Now, a lot of people with ME, I want to make this clear, are already debilitated, but they have a baseline of debilitation that they function with. So that's what I mean by baseline. Now, a flare-up puts people below that baseline and they can't even function at wherever they were at. Functioning for one person may be working part-time. Functioning for another person might be, I was able to brush my teeth and take a shower today. So I need to make that very clear for people watching this. But for me, a flare usually starts with brain fog, overwhelming severe fatigue, GI issues, joint pain, swollen lymph nodes, and muscle pain. It can be triggered by stress, physical stress, illness, like colds and flus, food, and physical exertion. So sometimes you might have a friend or someone who hasn't been active a whole lot. You haven't seen them physically be active, and they're in the middle of a bad flare, and you're like, how'd that happen? Well, it could be financial stress, marital stress, their kids are not doing well. It could be a lot of different things that cause flares, and sometimes flares just happen for no reason. I'm very disciplined and try to stay at my baseline, and sometimes I just have a flare for no reason. Not sleeping well enough, flare. And ironically, insomnia is a symptom of ME and flares. So it's this vicious cycle. So when someone says, hey, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, a month, 6 months, or whatever, maybe you can send them this. They can understand a little bit what flares are. They could last a long time. I've had flares that have lasted 4 months where I've physically needed assistance the entire time. That's hard for people to understand, and I understand that. But hopefully this helps people a little bit. If you're in the middle of a flare, you might not have it in you to explain what a flare is. Also, I implore people to look up, anyone who's interested in learning more about a flare, is what postexertional malaise is. That's very important to understand when trying to understand a flare, but I generally don't mention that when I'm explaining a flare because it gets a little long-winded and complex. So I think it's important, if the conversation is ongoing and you see that there's interest, postexertional malaise is a very important thing to understand when explaining an ME flare. So I encourage people to look that up and understand what that is. And I won't go into that in this video. I wanted to keep this under 5 minutes. I know I didn't share anything groundbreaking here, but I just wanted to, I keep hearing people say, hey, how do you explain flares to people? What is a flare? How long do they last? And this is just a quick snapshot of that hopefully you can text, send, share to someone who might benefit from just hearing someone else explain what a flare is. Flares are real. It's part of ME. It's something that you should constantly be trying to monitor and avoid. But sometimes it's unavoidable. And like I said, it's a vicious cycle. You can get insomnia with ME and from a flare, and then not sleeping can cause a flare. So be patient with people in a flare. If you haven't seen them, heard from them for a while, they're not trying to be mean, they're not trying to be rude, they're just currently not feeling well. I hope this helps. Maybe I'll do another video on this that goes more in depth. I hope everyone's doing all right, and take care, and until next time.